Hey guys, CreepsMcPasta here and welcome to Should You Buy, a series where we help you decide whether or not to buy a game. Today, we're looking at Never Alone. Before we look into the game, I have to say this game garnered quite a bit of interest from a lot of what it was boasting. According to the articles and posts, this game was to be a cultural piece about the Native Alaskans. Now, a cultural based game has been done before, but what Upper One Games stated was that they had the consultation of nearly 40 Alaskan native elders, storytellers and community members contribute to the development of the game. This personally caught my eye and perked up the ears of a number of people, because not only did this game have to perform as a video game, but had the added pressure of being an accurate representation of a rich, real-world culture. Something which can go wrong very easily. A reference to that can be the new Exodus Gods and Kings, in which the characters were controversially whitewashed from what the Egyptian natives would have looked like at the time. So, bearing this in mind, I'll be approaching this game in two angles. This game starts with an opening explaining some backstory to the tribe the protagonist is from, as well as some character note for who you play as. You start off as Nuna, a little girl from the tribe, and later find an Arctic fox, which introduces the element of cooperative play. Playing through the game, certain topical scenarios come up, such as meeting the little people, unlocking the use of the bowler and so on. When this happens, you are prompted when you unlock the relevant insight.
One of the things I think a lot of people need to understand is we aren't a museum piece. The Inupiaq people are a living people and a living culture. Even though we're in northern Alaska, which covers this vast area from Nome all the way over the Canadian border, is that there is this extreme value of interconnectedness and interdependence.
It's a hunting society.
The Insight feature is a documentary-esque short which has some natives explaining in their own ways about the subject at hand. This creates a sense of authenticity, as you aren't just hearing a statement of a definition of a bowler and its use from a generic narrator, but you are welcome to a bit of history and personal input from the tellers. Not only this, but you don't have to watch them, but choosing not to doesn't impede on going back to them for future viewing. By this I mean, when you unlock a clip, you choose to watch it, but you can open up the Insight menu at any point. They hit the nail on the head with these clips in my opinion, as sometimes I found myself getting into the gameplay and not wanting to stop and watch a clip, and other times I'd binge through some of the clips and simply engross myself in the interesting story they provided. The gameplay, however, left me mixed. The gameplay is a basic puzzle platformer with a minimalistic design. You have to switch between the Fox and Nuna depending on what challenge is provided, but the difficulty curve is very slow. This can be forgiven, however, when you think of the applications this game can be for children. The difficulty does pick up, however, utilising the simple mechanics in a number of ways. Death states are very common. It's very easy to die in this game. However, it won't spoon feed you when it comes to some of the puzzles. I actually like this decision, as this made the gameplay revolve more about the puzzles than the platforming, because I have to say, the platforming was not very good. The jumping and running and overall feel of the characters at times felt clunky, with a lot of deaths sometimes not feeling like they were your mistake, but rather the game's. Switching between characters could cause issues, as the AI would sometimes cause a mistake and cause more fail states that, again, wasn't your fault. This can cause frustration to some of the more impatient gamers out there. Later, you find yourself using the Fox to tap into the spirits to use along your journey. I have to give this game credit here, as spiritualism is something which gets very mixed reactions depending on how it's presented. If it's forced onto someone who simply despises the idea of its existence, then it can easily put said players off. This game, however, simply puts it in there to be taken how you want it. Through the game and the documentary clips, it is not put upon you, but rather laid out there for you to take as you will, as an interesting cultural piece, or a gameplay mechanic. And it leaves things open in that sense. The other type of gameplay are the chase scenes. These highlight a lot of the issues of the game for me, as now you're pressured to perform platforming timed, which, from the previous complaints, can become more frustrating than challenging. The chase scenes, in my opinion, are the weakest part of the game, really being a compilation of what I found wrong in the game. The narrative in-game is told in the native Inupiat language. This goes back to my praises earlier of the attention to cultural detail this game boasts. Subtitles can be chosen from a wide selection of languages too. This helps push the atmosphere it's gunning for. However, the only complaint when it comes to this decision are the few times it happened during a chase scene. I would have to choose to read and die a lot due to not looking at what's in my way, causing me to go through the same dialogue over and over, or skip it and hope it wasn't important. This is a complaint I never really thought I'd say, but this is one of the few instances I thought a separation between story and gameplay could have been made, rather than the seamless integration. Overall, as a platformer, I found it lacking. The challenge was really set back by the minimalistic and artistic approach they had towards the game. But, as an educational game, this is the biggest step forward I've seen in this genre. Educational games have always had a bad rap, often being an insult to a game, but this is how I'd love to see them done, as I couldn't help but want to know more and more as the game went on. The pacing at which information was given was perfect for letting you learn and wanting to progress for more. This was my impression of the game. However, a lot of the negatives were blown out the water as soon as I tried something different. The co-op. I started playing the game with Matt in order to see how it played as local cooperative experience, and it was the most fun we had in a while. Due to the forgiving death states, you could be playful and not cause eventual frustration due to lack of progress on messing around. And on the other hand, the janky problems of controlling two characters or relying on the AI was gone, and we were left with an amazing gaming experience. Do note, however, that the co-op is local only. So, overall, this is going to be a hard one to sum up. I'd say definitely buy if you can play this game cooperatively. It's very enjoyable with another person, and like I said, a lot of the negatives I've said are gone once you play with someone else. Also, if you have a thirst for knowledge and enjoy some good narrative-based gameplay, then I also recommend this at full price. And take this bit as a personal note, I would say this game is worth supporting. Not only was this made with the help of nearly 40 natives, but the company itself is the first indigenous-owned commercial game company in the United States. If you want a fun co-op game, but don't care as much for the educational side, or you care about the educational side, but don't see yourself enjoying the gameplay, I'd say buy this game on sale. And if you're after a challenging game that you can mindlessly play in your downtime, I have to say, don't bother. I found this game is best enjoyed when engrossed in the details. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you found this useful, leave a like. And if you want to see more, subscribe to be updated when new videos come out. If you're interested more in the theory of games, click here for the latest Press A to Learn, in which Matt puts some interesting perspective on how the industry tackles movie-tying games.